Hursley, but 20 years ago.
Those pictures showed how far we've come in the past 20 years. In fact, this view of the conservatory has not been seen for about 30 years, since the linkway to the now demolished A block was constructed. Over there, where the noise is coming from, is a view of our future. This is where tomorrow's products will be developed, and it's an impressive vote of confidence in the laboratory by the IBM Corporation. To hear about progress on the new building, let's ask Taylor Woodrow's site agent, Dave McKechnie.
Well, as you can see, we've had a good summer and we're making great progress. Our biggest investment to date, and probably our biggest help, has been the tower crane. From here you can see the whole site. Down there you can see the preparation that is necessary to form the floor slabs. At the moment they are breaking down the pile caps, ready to prepare them for waterproofing. Control and safety are quite exacting, and in the end it's all down to the team. The two drivers work together, one operating and one directing at any one time. This is to spread the workload, which is generally in excess of a 12-hour day.
That's it. Start trolley in and just slow to your left. It's about 50 metres out. All right.
Here you can see the concrete pour to Unit 1, which you will eventually know as the new reception area. This will be the basement floor area that you can see. Although it doesn't look much at the moment, we've poured 1,500 cubic metres of concrete and laid 300 tons of steel, as well as removing 8,000 cubic metres of debris. This has involved 15 suppliers, 70 workmen and 500 deliveries. To minimise disruption to the labs, a number of these deliveries were arranged for Saturday mornings. The preparation is meticulous, even at this stage. Details of the water bar jointing have to be right first time. There can be no skimping on quality. In the future, we plan to pour approximately 300 metres of concrete per week until the whole of the frame is completed.
What you've just seen is part of the enormous effort that is going into our new building. A new building that will provide the foundation for the future and our continued success. Back in June at the All Employees meeting, you heard Jeff Robinson talk about the busy year ahead.
Every single part of the laboratory has got major product announcements and shipments this year. I believe we have more product shipment activity than the lab has ever had in its history from across the range of our activities. In 1990, we see shipment activity on all our major CICS platforms, on the traditional MVS, ESA, high-end 370 line or 3090 line, on the mid-range with VSE, and out on the workstation with OS2, and indeed the development of an AIX capability, remember that open systems theme, for CICS on the workstation or on the Mini. So CICS moving out from its traditional glasshouse view out into the distributed enterprise with a major series of shipments in 1990. Also in host software, we've got another shipment of GDDM this year, something we perhaps don't often think about, but still earning very good money for us and still significant license growth from GDDM. We have at least 2 shipments, depending how you want to count them, on Presentation Manager in 1990 with OS2 1.2.
To tell us more about High Noon, from Presentation Management Systems, Roger Rowe.
I'm delighted that in September we announced High Noon as SAA Application Connection Services, a key part in IBM's System View solution. This has been a tremendous effort within PMS and in functions throughout the lab. I'd like to thank you all for your major efforts on behalf of the program. And now to explain the product in more detail, a member of my team, Patrick Beasley.
Last year we delivered Presentation Manager, now an industry standard. This new product extends the ease of use functions of Presentation Manager into the network, into the mainframe. You could say that it's a window into the enterprise. In fact, we see it a little bit like this. Acons makes life easier for end users like myself by providing a single sign-on. This enables me to access all my host applications on the mainframe, such as GDDM and profs, just by entering my password and my user ID once, like this. Once I've done that, that's given me access to these applications in this list. All I have to do to start such an application is to select it with the mouse. Then I double click on it and it starts just like an application would do in PM. Our customers have told us how difficult it is to manage the variety and number of applications that are running on their employees' PCs. Acons helps solve this problem by giving systems administrators a tool to manage this at the enterprise level rather than down at the level of the individual user. I particularly like working on this project. I've been out and I've demonstrated it to customers and I've heard them talk to us about their requirements. It's been rewarding to work in the planning area and bring the product to announcement.
What Jeff was not able to tell you at the all-employees meeting was that we were about to gain responsibility for message-driven processing and transaction routing. A change for the lab, a new mission, and a platform from which we can step into the future. To explain what it's all about, here's Mark Thomas.
The computer revolution has changed our lives, but the computer revolution is being rapidly overtaken by the communications revolution. Although the computer industry is thought to be maturing and may be becoming essentially a replacement business, the number of connections between computers is now growing tremendously. Behind the jargon of the new missions, what we're going to do is to give customers a way to make use of the extra connections. For example, when you book your holiday or business trip with Thomas Cook, they will normally use the Travicom system to reserve both the airline seat and the Hertz car. They can do this because the Travicom system can connect both to the Hertz and to the airline computers. However, if you also need to book the services of a tour operator, that is on a different system, Fast Track. What message-driven processing can do is offer a simple way to combine these two different systems, invisibly to the travel agent and to her customer. The principles of messaging can be applied to businesses in almost every walk of life. Retail, banking, travel, insurance, manufacturing. The list is almost endless. What this means is that the products that we will be developing in Hursley in the 1990s will have a very important influence both on IBM's business and on the man in the street.
Years ago, this technology helped the man in the street. Let's find out more at Hursley Church.
I'm Martin Waldron. I've just come out of the tower of All Saints Church, Hursley. In the tower, there's a ring of 10 bells, the largest one, or tenor bell, weighing 1400 weight. Now, in the 1880s, there were only 6 bells. This device, which is called a Seagull's apparatus, was then fitted to the bells. It enabled the bells to be rung for practice and no noise to be made outside the tower. The ringers could hear what was going on without annoying their neighbours. It worked thus. The clapper on the main bells, the clappers on the main bells were tied. They couldn't move. They couldn't strike the bells. A bolt was slid across on the framework. That engaged with a lever as it revolved. The wire which was attached to the lever above came down to the belfry floor and was attached to this eye. Here is the end of it, in my thumb and first finger. That, via this link, rotated this arm, which trips this hammer. Each time the main bell would have struck, which struck a small bell which was fitted on there. Consequently, the ringers could hear exactly what they were doing with no inconvenience to the neighbours. This apparatus was actually fitted in 1880. About 20 years ago, we had a clear-up and whitewashed the tower, spring cleaned it, and took these off and threw them away. Along with all the other rubbish from here, it used to be thrown into the vicar's garden. And that is where this was eventually found by yourself. Here we are in the bell tower of All Saints Church, Hursley. There have been bells in this tower at least since 1616. We know that because these two bells here were cast and installed in that year. They were joined in 1713 by a larger bell. In 1835 by two smaller bells to make a ring of 5. This would give the possibility of ringing 120 changes, which is the smallest number of bells upon which serious change ringing can be done. In 1880, another small bell was added, along with the Seagull's apparatus. In 1923, 2 more were added. This made quite a fine ring of 8 bells. The arrangement you see here today incorporates the 8 bells I've previously mentioned, plus 2 more, which were added by public subscription in 1989. 10 bells offer a much better scope for change ringing, as there are many more changes obtainable on 10. They form a very, very musical ring of bells, and we're very, very pleased with them.